Hello, hello. We are going live today with Amanda Schul. This is basically the pinnacle of my career, so I'm going to retire after this. Hi, everyone. I'm so excited you guys are joining. We're going to wait until Amanda's going to join us. Okay, here we go. Amanda Schul. Okay, how many of you have... Yeah. Oh my gosh, I know. I'm so stoked about this. Hi, everyone. Tell me where you're calling from. Tell me where you're tuning in. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Ah! Okay, truly, this is the pinnacle of my career. I
Um,
might retire after
First
this.
of all, stop it. But before we go any further, is technology working for me?
Yes.
Because I have to tell you right now, it doesn't always.
Let
So
me
I'm
tell
gonna
you, it
sit
is working for
down.
you.
Okay.
Working for you. You look amazing.
You're making me blush. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't.
Oh my gosh,
Hi.
Katrina, someone says.
Stop.
Okay, so we
Stop.
might be able to take some questions from the board, but I might just take up the whole 30 minutes because I'm so excited
Well,
you're here today.
I
So
had questions sent to me too, and I could find them on my phone, but I have my computer.
perfect. Perfect.
Yes,
Oh my
but
gosh.
this is
Let me tell you, you were in the most iconic movie of like my entire childhood. Like I don't think I was this was like the first PG-13 movie I was allowed to watch and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is the greatest thing ever."
did we totally ruin PG-13 movies going forward? Were your parents like, that was too much of this, that, and the other? Or
My parents didn't even go with us. It was like me and my ballet bestie. Like the two of us were like it was the first time we were allowed to go to the movie theaters by ourselves. And
okay,
like we went and it was like the
what
great
was your movie theater snack when you went?
Oh, I don't remember, but that's a good question. I was like I definitely snuck in candy into the theater. Like
Oh,
I was
you
wonderful.
didn't buy like the
I
$10 Milk Duds or
that
whatever?
$10 milk duds exactly. I like brought it from like the grocery store like next door, but I'm pretty sure it was like
Smart.
candy and like a bag of popcorn from the grocery store.
Very smart. Also, probably fewer carcinogens. Um, I used to get red vines and use them as the straw.
Yes. That's oh my gosh, I feel like that is a total like 2000s thing to do.
Okay, I appreciate that you think I was doing that in the 2000s, but okay.
Okay, so we're going to talk for everyone who is here right now. I know you guys are dying to hear from Amanda. We're going to talk a little bit more about your ballet career because this is a ballet forward Instagram.
Right.
And then we're going to move to, oh my
I
gosh,
brought
wait, do you,
point shoes. I brought props.
oh my gosh, that's awesome. Do you have the red point shoe? This is amazing. I'm
But
die.
wait,
You
just
guys
kidding. They're
clearly.
they're total mush. Like they've been eaten by weebles or something.
Yeah.
Do you have a like a
Yeah.
tip on how to store them and what I mean like they're mush. They're flat
Yes.
shoes now, basically.
I mean, you have to throw it in the freezer.
Okay, I'm not planning on wearing them again
Yeah.
ever. But if I throw them in the freezer, is it will that exterminate the
Yep.
thingy?
And then
Oh.
like just like slap it around
And knock them
and
out.
then the freezer. Yeah. So that'll
Look
help.
at you knowing what to do.
We okay, so in the San Francisco Ballet Shoe Room, we have a freezer
Oh
for that
my
reason.
God, things have changed
Things have
since
changed. You guys,
I
you
was
should
there.
come and see the San Francisco Shoe Room.
I would
I
love
love that.
to. It would make me very nostalgic. Like that I haven't been back in the building in like 15 years. And I recently found my pass. I don't know if they would
Oh
still
my
let
God.
me in.
I
But,
think your face is their pass. You can be like, "Hi, I'm here."
or my face is like my no-go. They're like, you shall not
Okay, so
pass.
So you started at you didn't start at the San Francisco Ballet School, but you went there at some point.
Yeah, I didn't go through the levels, right? I'm
Yes.
originally from Honolulu. So
Oh
I
my
started dancing in Hawaii.
God.
And then I actually didn't decide to become a professional, or didn't decide I wanted to attempt to become a professional dancer. I went to college first. I went to Indiana University and studied with Violette Verdi.
That's incredible.
Because so that thanks, yeah, I thought so. Indiana has an amazing dance program, and Jacques and gosh, who was there at the time? And I'm totally spacing out right now. But Violette was replacing both of them essentially.
Mm,
And I had worked with her a teeny tiny bit in Chautauqua, and so I basically went there for her. And so I did 2 years at IU, and then went to the summer program in San Francisco. And at the end of the summer program, they offered me a scholarship to stay for the year. At the end of the year, I got my apprenticeship.
so what made you was Center Stage your first acting gig?
Hmm.
Wow. You
Yeah, I I had done musical theater
okay.
growing up, but I had never done anything like this. You know, musical theater and ballet on a stage are a very different. Uh, they're a different art form. You know, it's performance, obviously, but yeah, center stage was my first time dancing or performing and acting for this, and not for that.
How did they approach you? How did you find Center Stage? Because I mean, I feel like Center Stage really is one of the very few ballet movies that
Hmm.
you a very great cast of dancers, like real dancers.
Real dancers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
So, for my role, they originally wanted an actress to play the role, an
Mm,
actress who could dance. And so they went down that road for a little while. The director, Nicholas Heitner, was pretty firm. He's actually now Sir Nicholas Heitner, was pretty firm in his belief that he wanted a dancer
oh,
for
okay.
the role. But it was a Sony Pictures movie, Columbia TriStar, and you have to do what the man tells you what to do. So um, they did a nationwide search for my role. Excuse me, I'm getting ahead of myself. They auditioned actresses who could dance, and it became very clear pretty early on that they weren't really dancers.
Sure.
I'm sure they could dance, but they weren't of the level, that we call dancers. Now they could probably digitally impose, somebody's face on,
Right.
a dancer. But so after that, then they did this nationwide search, and they started on the East Coast, went to all the companies, and they ended up in San Francisco. And they were actually going to audition, or they did audition the members of the company, and I wasn't in the company yet. And the casting director saw me in the hall with Irina Jakobsen, getting a lot of the same corrections that Jody got. And so then they came to a rehearsal for our end of the year student showcase. And I remember the choreographer saying, "We're going to have a fancy Hollywood director coming in." And it was the casting director. And
Amazing.
when I tell you, I have never worked harder in a rehearsal in my life. That is not an exaggeration. Like, I jumped higher, I kicked higher. Like, I was like performing for, and it was like not even a dramatic piece. I was like, I am going to be noticed, because
Wow.
I knew that this was something I wanted to do.
Wow.
And they gave me the opportunity to read for the role the next day.
Were you already interested in acting?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, sorry, I'm gonna move my chair, so I'm like sitting on one bum. Um, I had never done, as I said, screen acting, but I liked performing.
Hmm.
And from like the very beginning, those were the roles I got, like when even younger, performing ballet or, whatnot, it was always those the roles I was given, and those were the roles I wanted. I remember I wanted to do Giselle, but I only wanted to do the mad scene. So like, so like when we did Giselle, the woman, the whoever was dancing Giselle, this is when I was back in Hawaii in the school, I would like practice behind her, but mark everything. And then when it got to the mad scene, I would like go full out and like really drum up tears and like throw myself on the floor,
Oh my,
just
amazing.
because I was always drawn to that. I always wanted to be able to express myself in other ways.
Okay, so are you a dancer that acts or an actress that dances?
I think now I'm an actress who dances.
Okay, but okay, so even before we were doing this collab, I was super into Suits. Like recently, my boyfriend and I have binge watched the entirety of Suits, and I think every episode that you were in, I was like, she was in center stage, and I think at the end he was like, I know she was in center stage. But it's funny because Lewis in the show, I don't actually know his
Rick,
name, but Lewis in the show,
Rick.
okay, so he was a big AB or he's a ballet fan.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, that's so funny that he's a ballet fan. And then like you're there, Amanda's there. Were you kind of giving them like tips on like what actually happens
They, they
or like,
they didn't need my tips. No, but I will tell you there were a few things. I don't remember whether Lewis, so his real name is Rick Hoffman. I don't remember whether Lewis um was specifically, I think he already did like ballet. I think it was a happy coincidence when I got cast, but maybe the fourth season, so I came on season 2, maybe the fourth season, I was doing a day of scenes with Rick, and I happened to be talking to my mom. It was a summer. I happened to be talking to my mom on the phone between setups, and she said, she's the president of Ballet Hawaii, by the way, in Hawaii.
oh,
And she said, ask Lewis if he wants to come to Hawaii and do Nutcracker. And I was like, okay. And so I hang the phone up and I turn to him and I'm like, Rick, my mom wants to know if you want to go to Hawaii to do Nutcracker this Christmas. And then they're like, okay, places, blah, blah, blah. And we get in our places and we do the scene. And I like blew it off. I'm walking back to my trailer and he's like, hey, so are we going to do this? And he did. He came to Hawaii and
no.
he was the grandfather in the party scene. And because he committed to doing it, I committed to it and I was the mother in the
Oh
party
my
scene.
God, that is so iconic. Is there film of this? Is there
There's probably
photo?
there's some photos.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing. You need to dig that up, girl. We need that is just pure gold. That is incredible. I need to, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this now. Okay, so back to your acting career. Um, did you decide to pull yourself out of ballet after center stage, or was there kind of a,
No,
okay,
I went back to the company and danced for 7 seasons.
okay, so you stayed in ballet for a while, and then when did was the plan always to go back to acting?
Yes,
Mm,
ish. I think there's some dancers who just know this is it.
mm,
This is this is what I'm going to commit my life to. And they eat, sleep, and breathe ballet. And we
yes.
all know them.
Yep.
And part of me envied them because they were realizing their ultimate dream.
Right.
And um, everything, every day was important and every day was this living out of their fantasy, and part of me was really envious of that because I loved it, but I always knew in the back of my head ballet is finite and
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have a body that was going to be able to do it for decades,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew there was going to be something beyond. And so it wasn't like it wasn't my dream, because it was, and I loved every single day I got to dance with San Francisco. but I always knew there was going to be something beyond. And the something I knew I needed to try my hand at was acting.
I love that. Okay, so and I think this brings up a really great point for dancers, professional dancers, because your career is quite short, and a lot of people don't have a second
They don't have a
career.
backup plan. There's no plan B. And I think part of that, sorry, I'm just messing around with my hair here. I think part of that is because dancers, professional dancers are often plucked when they're young, and they don't either. I think it's for so many reasons. I think it's like the naivete of youth, but I think it's also what I said. They're realizing their dream at that moment. They're not thinking beyond it or just that they they believe that they will always have a life in the dance sphere. And maybe that's true. I mean, there's so many other professions within the dance world, not just performing, but it's a finite career. Your body physically isn't capable of some people are able to do it much longer than others. Um, and some people aren't.
Right. So when you jumped back into acting, how much of your ballet played into that? Like, were you looking for roles that had dancing in it? Did you incorporate that into it? What are some
I
skills?
wasn't looking for roles that had dancing in it. But they seemed to find me, not even necessarily because people were looking for the girl from center stage. It was just that I I still identified as a dancer,
Mm,
and I probably somehow projected that or manifested that, or whatever it was. But I was down here for a year and a half or 2 years. I'm in LA right now, so I was down here for a year, a year and a bit, and I was cast in a movie called Mao's Last Dancer.
mm,
And I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's based on the autobiography of the same name of a beautiful dancer named Li Shun Sin, who defected from China and joined the Houston Ballet. And it was a very dramatic transition. And then he eventually went on to the Australian Ballet. So we filmed it in Australia. And I played the role of Lee's first wife, who was a dancer in the school. And they married very young, essentially, so that they were in love, but also so that they expedited their relationship so that he could stay in America.
wow.
And I played his first wife, and I met my husband doing that movie.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Iconic for you then. That's amazing. Okay, so you have a workshop
Do
coming
you
up.
do you want to teach it with me? I mean, we can. I
Absolutely
feel
not. I think
like you'll bring the joy. I mean, everything about this right now is so joyful.
well, we can do a point shoe fitting. I don't know how much I can help you in the acting sense, but you have a workshop coming up,
Mhm.
and when you're teaching, or I don't know if you've already taught dancers before, but when you're teaching dancers who have danced their entire lives,
Mhm.
what do you focus on when you're teaching acting? Like, what are the
I
differences?
I think we're gonna focus on a number of things, but dancers already have the ability to embody a character.
Mm,
They already have a leg. Ugh, what a lame pun. A leg up. They on this this next art. It's just a matter of channeling it and kind of like distilling it down to a smaller essence than what they're already familiar with.
mhm.
We'll also focus on how to create a character, a well-rounded character, because as dancers we're taught the choreography. A lot of the choreography for story ballets is kind of
Right.
universal, and so you're not that you're mimicking another performance, but the character is within the choreography. You've seen the performances of Giselle or Aurora, or you know who she is, but you don't have her as a well-rounded person.
Mm,
And that was something for me when I moved down here that was it took me a while to understand that. I would get the lines, and the lines are kind of equivalent to the choreography.
Hmm.
So I'd memorize the lines and I'd know the lines and I would prepare exactly how I was going to perform them,
Right.
like choreography.
Hmm.
But I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who this person was, where she came from, what her
Oh,
upbringing
wow.
was like, the why she's having this confrontation, or what happened right before she walked in the door that would make her have that emotion. Like, there's so many little details to it that as dancers we don't need to know to do a beautiful performance. But I think it could really benefit a lot of people to, I mean, if you're able to create a compelling Aurora or Giselle or whatever else that is just slightly different from what we're used to seeing, what a revelation.
Right. Are that is so interesting. Do you see any ballerinas in certain roles that you're like, this is she would make an amazing actress? Or do you see certain dancers that you see that in? Or
I've seen, it's been a second since I've been to the ballet. It makes me a little nostalgic, and teary. Um, I've seen dancers, this is going to sound terrible. I've seen dancers who are brilliant at performances, and I've also seen dancers who really aren't comfortable with the acting part of it.
Mhm.
And maybe it's because that was always stronger for me than the technique.
Right.
That's kind of what would stand out to me. Like, you can ask where somebody is, but I mean, if you just ask where somebody is and then you go on to the next thing, have you seen like, there's nothing
Right.
happening. It doesn't draw you in. You're like, oh, I think I know what she's doing, but I'm not totally sure. And those are kind of the performances that always stood out more for me. And probably part of it is like total Monday morning quarterback, like backseat driver, where I'm like, oh, I could have asked them where so and so is so much better, which is just like, well, good on you, Amanda.
No, I think that's so interesting because you can see sometimes with dancers perfect technique
Beautiful.
that doesn't feel
Doesn't
anything.
feel authentic, right?
Right.
Right.
Right. So this is, I feel like even if a dancer is not interested in going into acting totally, this is something that would benefit every dancer.
I
This work.
I also think that it can, I know that for me, once I started understanding how to become the character, it
Mm,
was like this protective shield that
wow.
Amanda didn't walk into the room, the character did. And it helps with nerves
I like.
tremendously. And I used to get, it was a combination of excitement and nervousness, or say, not, I wouldn't even say stage fright, because it wasn't stage fright, because it
Hmm.
was excitement.
Right.
But if I had known how to like kind of channel it and figure out how to be somebody else when I stepped out on the stage, I think that could have saved me um, a, a lot of sweaty moments, backstage.
Right. Okay, so of your acting roles, what was your favorite character and why?
That's my favorite. Like, who's my favorite baby?
Yeah,
Um,
was my favorite baby.
who's my favorite acting baby?
Yeah.
Um, I've had some really nice opportunities. I've had everything is it's really hard. I had every single major role I've ever had the good fortune to portray has a very special place in my heart for a different reason, But I did a role in a TV show for 4 seasons called 12 Monkeys,
Yes.
and I played the role of Dr. Cassandra Reilly. And I've seen a few people, I've seen it coming up
Yeah.
a little bit, and that was I mean, I was in the pilot, from the pilot to the very end, and the people became my family.
Oh,
And so, and also they wrote for me. um they kind of tailored it to me, and I got to do a lot of, not stunts, I got to do a lot of my own action. So they would choreograph action for me with like roundhouse, or I got to work with a fight trainer and
Wow.
incorporate physicality into, the role as well. So for so many reasons, that's kind of like the thing I guess I'd go back to is if I could do it again, if my aging bones could do it again, I would.
Oh, I love that. That's so great. Okay, what was your favorite ballet role?
Dancing on stage. Um, I did Swanhilda and Coppelia, and that was a lot of fun. In San Francisco, I did Who Cares? I was one of the three principal women in Who Cares, and that was really special.
I love that.
Um, I was the jumping. I got it was either acting or jumping, um, and that was really great. And then I was also one of the harlots um,
No.
in Romeo and
Oh,
Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet. Yes.
Harlot is just a nice way of saying prostitute.
Right?
Um,
Fun time.
but it was like just like a wild role. My hair was really big. We got to jump around, and that was really, that's another favorite baby. Well, how can I choose? This
That's
isn't
true.
fair, Josephine. This isn't fair.
Just for conversation starters, I know. I think that's, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Okay, so there's a couple more things with the San Francisco Dance Film Festival. How did you get roped into this?
Roped,
Yes.
lassoed, hogtied. No, it's it's not like that at all. Um, it's actually been a really big pleasure and honor. The fact that this is 25 years
Yeah.
since we shot this movie. The
Yes.
fact that San Francisco Dance Film Festival approached me about this is so flattering.
I
You
love
know,
that.
it's
You're,
it's an honor, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention my dear friend Garen Scribner, who I feel like this is a little bit. There's a little bit of nepotism tied into this because Garen is a really close friend of mine, and he's a director of the San Francisco Dance Festival. so, if he had chosen another movie, we might have had words. No, um, it's I I was I was in with someone on the inside. That's how I
I,
that's how this happened.
it's a small world, the
Yeah.
ballet. Very, very small.
Garen danced with me in San Francisco. He was a soloist in San Francisco.
There you go. That's perfect. Okay, we just have a couple minutes left. Are there any questions that came to you that you wanted to
I
address?
had questions that came to me, and of course, because um, I'm a million years old, I can't find them on here. I found them on my phone, and I was like, oh, I'll just pull them up on my computer. That's how technology works. Um, is there Yeah, I can't because I'm a dingling. Um, is
That's a
there anything that people have asked you
yes.
while I sit here going through this?
I mean, there's a bajillion. I'm just gonna randomly pull a couple. Um,
Please do, because my technology is failing me, and I'll try to answer. For anybody who's watching this who sent me a question, I'll try to answer them for you.
yeah, I think someone was asking, oh, what would you tell your younger self coming into the to the industry? I'm guessing the acting
Yeah,
industry, the
yeah,
Hollywood.
I'd say that this is called the industry more than like the ballet industry. Ooh, who's that? What's that? What we just see there?
That was that was my Lego man. I accidentally flipped my camera.
Hey,
You know.
aww. Um, my younger self coming into it, work hard, and I did that, but I think I, I think hard work. So luck is preparation meeting opportunity, right? So if you're prepared, if you show up prepared and you do the work, you just need to find yourself in those opportunities to be able to show the work, and the same applies to dancers as well. You put in the time and you put in the effort in the studio, and you hope that the opportunity arises to allow that all that effort to shine at some point.
I think that is another thing that translates well from ballerina to actress is because dancers are so well prepared.
And disciplined.
Exactly.
And that's something I've had more than one director tell me that before. Say, I love working with
I
dancers. I love
love
it. And just as a little tidbit, when you're acting, they give you something called a mark, and it's often just like a piece of tape on the floor.
hmm
And dancers almost always hit their marks.
always. Oh my gosh, I love to be on a t-shirt. Dancers always hit their marks. Okay, so I have a personal question. Let's say the characters in Center Stage were real. You were actually
Mhm.
Jody. Would you pick Cooper or Charlie?
Charlie,
Okay. I mean, are we all Charlie, like Team Charlie?
I think our younger selves were
Yes.
Cooper, and then
Yeah.
the mature, um, knowing what's right for you in the long run is Charlie.
Okay, did you marry a Charlie type?
I married Charlie and beyond.
Oh, I love. Oh my gosh, I love that answer so much. I'm glad that we got to clear that up because I was waiting 25 years for that answer.
Oh, well, you could have written me a letter. I could have just, I didn't even let you finish the sentence. That was so rude.
I was Team Charlie from like age 12, so I'm
Oh,
good. I'm Team Charlie.
well, then you've had a level head your whole life. So
Yeah.
well done, you.
So true. Okay, we need to see one last time before I let you go that iconic point shoe. Do
Oh,
you
I
have
brought my other shoes too because I know you talk about like fitting
yeah,
shoes and stuff. So
yes.
I
This is
brought some of my old shoes for
you.
for whatever reason. White shoes always fit me better than pink shoes. Is
Interesting.
that oh? So that's not a thing.
No, no,
My
no.
white shoes always were better
That
looking than my pink shoes.
that is interesting that you say everyone's different, but satin makes a difference. Satin makes a difference. So even different colors, it will fit differently.
Well, yeah.
People,
So whenever we had a ballet with white shoes, I was always like, yes, this is gonna fit.
the
But I
satin
mean,
so
I know you talk about like the fit of shoes, and you did that little bit watching the beginning of class in center stage, and you were talking about all the things that dancers do to their
oh
shoes.
yeah,
So I think this has been eaten by weebles too. Yep. Ugh. Woof.
I know.
Um, but
Freezer.
is there a proper name for what they are? Are they weebles? Am I making that
No,
up? This still has toe pads in it. They've like fossilized.
yeah. We just call them like we call them point shoe bugs, but yeah, weebles, point shoe bugs, they're so real.
Apologies if that's not your real name, guys, but that's what I call you. So I would always like 3/4 my own, like I cut the shank out
Oh,
here,
wow. Okay.
and then I put therapy tape over it there. This is cool. This is like 15-year-old gunk in my shoe that I'm showing to the world.
That's
And then I liked this kind of elastic because I liked it
it.
thick, and then but it also like pulled the shoe up. And then on the back here, I would always put the left or the right. And if it was a multi-act ballet, I have back here left, third act
Oh, I love that. Oh my,
because different shoes work for different shoes. And then
do you do you know what is your shoe a custom shoe?
yeah, it's a club for triple X.
Did you know Club is retired?
I heard that a while ago. I have a bunch of them.
Ooh. Okay, so if anyone, yeah, if
I have
anyone Club,
multiple pairs. I can sell them on the pink
yeah,
market.
exactly. The pink market. I love that.
Um, actually, I think we might be auctioning a few pairs off during the film festival, and they're unworn. Not that like you should buy them to wear them, but I have when I knew I was leaving the company, I didn't know if how much more I was going to dance in my life, And so I took all the shoes with me.
Oh my gosh. As you should. As you should. Oh my
Look
gosh.
at these guys.
I am definitely going to put my name in that auction. Because
Do you wear a club for triple X?
no, you have really small feet, girl. I'm like a size 7 and freed.
Well, the triple X was also ridiculous because my feet aren't even that wide, but this is
Ah,
probably TMI, but I had corns between my pinky toes, and so I needed to have more
yes,
space to
that's correct.
yeah.
That is a lot of people who have corns between, you got to wear wider feet,
Yeah.
you have to wear wider feet. You have to wear wider shoes.
You just slap your wider feet on in the morning and
Ex-
go on with your day.
Exactly. Okay, so we have a center stage viewing screening with the Queen. Let's see, what day is this? It's going to be September 13th.
It's a week from
It's
today, September 13th at the Herbst Theater in San Francisco.
fabulous.
And then the following day, September 14th, on Saturday, I am teaching an acting for dancers workshop at Smuin.
Incredible. This is
And
like
all of this information, let me just make sure I can pull this up. The workshop is Saturday from 12:30 to 4:30 at Smuin, which is in San Francisco.
amazing.
But you can also take it online if you want to, and you can pull this
Ooh.
information up. Let me get my my Mr. Peanut monocles. SF dancefilmfest.org
Yes.
and get all the
So we
information.
all of that linked. We're going to save this live for you guys so you can watch Amanda forever. And then and then there's another for our ballet audience, there's another viewing called Closer Than Yesterday, a film. And T Telemet is going to be in it.
Oh,
That's Friday.
Pete!
Yes. Yes, and he's teaching a master class if you want to go and take that class.
I don't think anybody needs me taking up their bar space in Teet's masterclass.
Absolutely, we need you to take up bar space.
I don't know about that.
So that viewing is going to be on October 4th, Closer Than Yesterday. And he's also teaching a master class October 5th on Saturday. So we're going to if you guys have any other questions for Amanda, for us, about point shoes, about life, about acting, please send us a DM. You have been incredible. I love you. I might retire after this. I'm done.
Don't
I'm
retire
done.
because I want to keep chatting with you. Don't do that to us.
I'll still be here. I'll be your personal, point shoe fitter for the rest of my life.
Oh gosh. If only. I don't even know if I could get my feet into these. I'm going to walk around for the rest of the day in my
It's
point
really
shoes.
small. Wow, you have small feet. You're like a size 6. Oh my gosh. Yes.
I got them on.
I love that.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. So I can finally see. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, bye, bye, bye. Heart, heart, heart. Thank you so much, Josephine.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye bye.